My name is Cruz. I'm from Monterrey, California, and I've been a part of TACFIT and CST since 2005, 2006. TACFIT started for me after a really bad injury to my neck. I always appreciated grappling and wrestling. I just always found a joy for it, so I used to like to show my friends just simple, basic moves. I was toying around with somebody that had no grappling skills at all, and they ended up doing something they saw on TV, and it was a really dangerous way he went about it, and I got the full effect of that. And then I started losing the range of motion in my neck. I couldn't look up or down, couldn't turn my chin left to right, and then the pain was just started becoming more intense. By the end of that week, I was already in the yellow pages looking for answers. My roommate had a lot of fitness material, and one of the things he had was Scott Sonnen's Into Flow DVD. And right away it resonated with me because it looked like low impact stuff, it was soft tissue work, it was working one little thing at a time, and that's all I could really do. I mean, I was very much handicapped at that point. Going through the mobility drills with that injury I had was very painful. My heart rate would escalate just doing elbow rotations. I would straight break out in a sweat from doing it because the pain was so intense. Having that injury and feeling like I was going to be handicapped, at 25, 24, when you're supposed to be in your prime. And so that was very humbling. How I got into health and fitness and learned how to have a greater appreciation for it started at a really young age. I grew up in a small town, so I'd hear a lot of stories about my dad, and like what he was able to do. My mom and him, they were high school sweethearts, and my dad was joining the military. He finishes his time in the service, drives back to California, and starts working like a regular 9 to 5. Now that I think about it, him not being active as much as he was growing up his whole life, just working 9 to 5. He has me on the way coming. The stresses of starting a family, paying bills. I think that's probably like the last straw for him, and he had his nervous breakdown. So my mom doesn't know what to do. She sees all that, and she's like, I can only imagine being that young and having no experience, not know anything about, mental health or anything like that. And your husband or your significant other, you want to help them, but what can you do? You don't have any skills to help them out. So she didn't know what to do. They ended up getting in a divorce, right? My dad had to move back with his parents and live with them. He couldn't take care of himself. Whenever I go to my dad's to visit him, my grandfather used to drink a lot. At night I'd be asleep, I'd go get water from the refrigerator, and then he would hear that click, when I get the water, and it was like clockwork. I was like, man, this dude has like a sensor or something connected to this water thing. Whenever I hit it, I could hear him playing with the door, and he comes out of his room. He's always in his boxers or a tank top, some shirt, and he starts making like gestures, or he will pull out his penis and start shaking it at me, like he's turned on by me when he sees me and stuff. And I remember it used to make me like really angry. I used to be like really, really, really angry, and I wanted to beat him up. I remember that. I remember thinking like, I'm a little kid, I'm 5, 6 years old, and if I was bigger, you wouldn't do this. I know it. I knew it. I knew how to get more respect. I felt like I was in a dark box with a bullseye on me, and everyone was just taking shots at me. And I didn't understand why, because I was just a kid, and so I was like, I don't know why. I was probably like 10 or 11 years old, that went on. And so finally I hit puberty, I'm starting to lift some weights because I'm so angry. And I remember the last time he did that, he came out of his room and I went to get the water. So I'm at the water, I'm getting water, and I'm ready for him now. I'm like, come on, let's do this. And I get the water, he comes out, I'm like, yeah, just like clockwork. And so he comes out of his room, he sees me, and I bait him in. And so I walk over a little bit. I was like, come on. I was like, today's your lucky day. I was like, come on over. And so I look at him, he sees me, his eyes light up. So he gets nice and close, within kicking range, right? And so as soon as he does, I turn around, I kicked him as hard as I could. And I was strong at that point, and he never did that again. I remember feeling like immediate like, like you score a touchdown, right? And then that just went away right away, Getting through that, I almost feel like I should be able to get through anything else. All these years I was active in my younger 20s, all through high school, was how I was managing, all the trauma and the stress I went through. I'm glad that, I did that and I dove into it that much, because if I just wasn't that active, who knows where my mind would have went, and what I would have been doing. I would have been in a more depressed state. I mean, and the only reason, I feel comfortable talking about now is for my mother as well, because I do want to let her know that, nothing is her fault. Because I know she thinks, she takes blame for everything that's happened to me, and there's nothing that she could have done, because she absorbed all of my pain that I went through. And so that still affects me to this day for sure. But I mean, you can only do what you can do, You don't have to be great to show up, but if you want to be great, you got to show up. Every day when I show up, I don't expect to do anything amazing or anything like that. I just show up just so I could feel better each day. And maybe when I look back, where I am now is amazing, right? When I look back to, where I was at, how I felt, in my mind, body, and spirit, and how much that has evolved just taking care of, through your physical being. What was it like when I first met Scott Sana? Dang, you can't even speak. You see him just, it was definitely like starstruck type of feeling. Definitely a lot of appreciation as well. And so I was just battling between the two. I was like, how do I tell this guy how much I appreciate him with words that don't want to come out of my mouth, kind of thing. So it was very much like that. But he still does that to me a little bit. It's weird. It's crazy. As I move forward, what is my why? There was this gal I was following on social media, maybe pre-teen or somewhere around there, but she had leukemia, and she was blogging her story about it and talking about it. Through that whole process, she had a great energy. It's like something about her was just like this angel kind of aura off her, and I think she knew she was gonna die, but she never stopped living each day. And her quote was, just keep swimming. And so I like that. Just keep swimming.